Abruptly, Tomet races towards them, pursued by an ugly fusion of humans and orcs. Despite the looming threat, Hiro steps forward to confront the monster, only to realize his foolishness. Hey warriors, how is it going? You see me, I am Itachi Uchiha, the hidden Hokage of Leaf Village. Just kidding, you know I am just an AI, but behind this shape, I am here to entertain you with enormous amazing recaps of all animes you can imagine. So without talking too much, let's dive in our story.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
Abruptly, Tomet races towards them, pursued by an ugly fusion of humans and orcs. Despite the looming threat, Hiro steps forward to confront the monster, only to realize his foolishness, that he no longer possesses his sword. With swift precision, Juru swings his sword, intercepting the monster's onslaught and shielding his companions from harm. Hiro, recognizing his own vulnerability, cautions Juru that he has yet to fully recuperate from his previous ordeal. As the monster redirects its focus towards Hiro, Tomita implores him to tap into his Dragon Zot form for defense. However, despite his efforts, Hiro struggles to transform, leaving him vulnerable to the creature's assault. In a decisive moment, the monster launches a devastating attack on Hiro, prompting Tomita's urgent plea. Yet, as the peril escalates, Juru intervenes once more, coming to Hiro's rescue and swiftly dispatching the monstrous foe. On the other hand, Eren meets Sharisharu to meet the evil merchant. Eren turns out to be a rat, as she informs Namboku that Hiro possesses the heart of Dragon Zot. The merchant refuses to believe her at first, but she tells him that it is her job to distribute valuable information in exchange for money. Impressed, Namboku gives her an expensive item, and later, he calls out Sharisharu, only to order her to kill Hiro. In the vibrant Rono village, Tomit finds himself captivated by its lively atmosphere despite its location on the outskirts. Palupa explains that the village thrives due to its strategic intersection. Hiro expresses his desire to acquire a new sword, but Juru suggests selling the crocodile first before making any purchases, cautioning Hiro to be mindful of their finances. As evening descends, Tomit inquires about their plans for the following day, prompting Juru to advocate for some much-needed rest. While Juru busies himself studying the map and planning their journey in his quarters, Hiro engages him in conversation, seeking to understand Juru's demeanor during their encounter in the village earlier. Juru reassures him, stating that he was merely fulfilling his duty to protect Hiro, though Hiro senses there may be more to Juru's thoughts. At the stroke of midnight, chaos erupts as a monstrous shadow descends upon the village, wreaking havoc and destruction. As the shadow reveals its true form, Dragon Zot emerges, casting a deadly aura that threatens all who cross its path. Enraged by the devastation, Hiro moves to confront the creature, but Juru intervenes, urging caution. However, as the monster unleashes another assault, it becomes evident that this is not the true Dragon Zot. Just then, Sharisharu appears, disclosing that the monstrous entity is an invention of Dr. Baharaba. Serato urgently alerts her companions that the looming threat is not Dragon Zot. Meanwhile, at the palace, Dr. Baharaba and Namboku observe the unfolding battle, with the doctor expressing confidence in his plan to manipulate Hiro. As Juru becomes snared by the shadow monster, Sharisharu launches an attack on Hiro with her lightning-infused umbrella, causing Dr. Baharaba to panic as he realizes the significance of Hiro's connection to Serato. Despite the chaos, Namboku remains indifferent, focused solely on luring Dragon Zot. Hiro, overwhelmed by the onslaught, succumbs to the fear and anger within him, awakening the dormant power of the dragon. His unleashed fury sends Sharisharu and her companions flying, leaving Tomit and Serato in awe of his newfound dragon form. As Hiro grapples with his inner turmoil, Juru finds himself consumed by the shadow, only to be rescued by Eren's timely intervention. Sharisharu vanishes from the scene as the true Dragon Zot materializes before them. In his fury, Hiro, now in control of his dragon form, inadvertently strikes Juru with his sword, causing Serato to feel a sharp pain in her heart. The sheer force of Hiro's inner power causes all the mirrors in Namboku's chamber to shatter, signaling the extent of his unleashed energy. Eventually, Hiro regains his senses, and Dragon Zot slowly fades away. Then Namboku realizes that to capture Dragon Zot, he must first subdue Hiro, leaving Juru lying helplessly on the ground. As Hiro and his companions rush to his side, they are overcome with emotion. As Hiro watches over Juru, who remains unconscious in the hostel, Serato joins him, offering silent support. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Palupa expresses dissatisfaction with the taste of the food he's prepared. Suddenly, Juru awakens, bringing a sense of relief to Hiro. Despite his recovery, Juru notices the smell of Palupa's cooking, acknowledging his efforts. Hiro's guilt weighs heavily upon him for his attack on Juru, but both Juru and Palupa reassure him that it was his dragon form, not his true self, that struck Juru. Nevertheless, Hiro is deeply affected by the incident, saddened by the harm caused to his friend. Hiro's concern grows as Serato explains the dangers of healing Juru's injuries and the potential risks of Hiro's dragon form overtaking him completely. The fear of losing his humanity to the dragon within him terrifies Hiro. Juru suggests seeking guidance from Master Theo, believing he may have insight into their situation, but he loses consciousness once more. Meanwhile, downstairs, Palupa and Mumu clash over the costly medicine needed to treat Juru's condition. Mumu reveals that the medicine requires rare herbs, boiling down their hopes of a cheaper alternative. Tomit suggests returning to the healing springs, but Palupa fears it may not be enough to save Juru's life. Just then, Eren emerges with a solution, offering directions to the herbs in Kururu Arua Canyon. Despite Hiro's urgency, Eren shares the location, providing a glimmer of hope as the group prepares to embark on their quest to save Juru. As Hiro and Serato venture towards Kururu Arua Canyon, their journey begins. Hiro expresses his frustration at the distance they must travel. Serato reassures him, mentioning that her own well-being is intact despite the journey's length. Back at the hostel, Eren grimly informs the group of Juru's worsening condition. Palupa calculates their financial constraints, while Tomit voices his growing suspicions about Serato. He notes her peculiar behavior, including her lack of appetite during their travels. Tomit's doubts are compounded by Serato's seemingly convenient appearances and her association with Dr. Baharaba, who serves Namboku's interests. Additionally, Tomit observes that Serato rarely smiles, adding to his distrust. Meanwhile, Hiro and Serato have reached Kururu Arua Canyon, where they hope to find the rare herbs needed to save Juru's life. In the canyon, Hiro and Serato find themselves facing a giant toad that suddenly appears and attacks them. Serato acts quickly, pushing Hiro out of harm's way. As they attempt to evade the creature, their escape is hindered by a sudden downpour, making the terrain slippery. Despite the obstacles, Serato spots a Serap Furia plant and Hiro heads towards it with determination. Back at the hostel, Eren relays alarming news to the group, revealing that Namboku plans to kill Hiro. She explains that she overheard this information through a device used for communication. Palupa is puzzled by Namboku's motives for targeting Hiro, and Eren suggests that it may be related to Hiro's connection to Dragon Zot. Meanwhile, as Hiro struggles to reach the Serap Furia, the hill where the plant grows unexpectedly shifts away, complicating their task further. Hiro continues to struggle to retrieve the Serap Furia from the elusive glow tortoise. Back at the hostel, the group discusses Hiro's connection to Namboku's plans. They realize that Hiro's visit to Namboku's place is tied to his inheritance from his father, as well as the fact that he carries the heart of the creature responsible for his parents' deaths. Eren adds to their concerns by revealing that Namboku orchestrated a hoax about Dragon Zot's capture, intending to sow discord among the three kingdoms. The group understands that this misinformation will likely lead to increased weapon and armor orders, along with a rise in magic stone prices due to Namboku's monopoly. Palupa fears that these developments may escalate into a continent-wide war. Meanwhile, Hiro continues to struggle with the glow tortoise, prompting Eren to warn the group about the increasingly difficult journey ahead. Despite the potential danger, she refuses any reward for her information, simply requesting a cup of tea in return. In the canyon, Hiro successfully retrieves the Serap Furia, but as he falls from the glow tortoise's shell, Serato catches him, leading to a moment of relief and shared smiles between them. Back at the hostel, Hiro presents the boiled Serap Furia to Juru, and as he consumes it, mystical lights appear, and Juru regains consciousness. Outside the room, Tomit enters and shares a troubling report with the others. He reveals that the children and the town are being coerced into mining magic stones, a situation that suggests the imminent outbreak of war. As they resume their journey, Tomit confides in Palupa that he's lost trust in Serato after witnessing her crying in the hostel the previous night. He now believes more in the mysterious girl they encountered earlier. Meanwhile, Tomit expresses his fear of the impending war and his desire to obtain the Grand Troa. However, Juru reminds him of the importance of finding Master Theo. Suddenly, a dignified man appears, and Juru and Palupa kneel before him. Palupa introduces himself as Barrow's servant, and the man reveals himself to be Master Theo. Master Theo's arrival brings a mix of emotions. As he greets Serato warmly, Hiro feels a twinge of jealousy. Despite the momentary discomfort, they continue their journey. However, the thin air proves challenging for everyone, leaving them breathless. Master Theo, ever observant, notes their struggle and points out that Barrow and Palupa, his disciples, never seem to face such difficulties. Palupa apologizes for their lack of a present, while Juru respectfully states their intention to discuss something important with Master Theo. As they delve deeper into the cave, Juru lays out the troubling reality of Hiro's potential transformation into a dragon. Master Theo listens intently, his wisdom emanating from his presence. With a gesture, he summons forth a powerful energy, demonstrating the soul-destroying flames akin to Dragon Zot's devastating attacks. The old man delves into the tragic history of the failed sealing ritual and the crucial role of Dragon Zot's heart, which now beats within Hiro. Despite his vast knowledge, Master Theo admits he lacks guidance on this matter. Hiro, grappling with his emotions, speaks out, his voice tinged with frustration. He confronts Master Theo about his absence during the sealing ceremony and questions why he didn't intervene to aid his parents. This moment of confrontation crackles with tension as Hiro seeks answers to the questions burning within him. Master Theo's explanation echoes with deep wisdom as he explains the impossibility of sealing Dragon Zot even with his presence. He extends an invitation to Hiro to embark on a journey of magical training, recognizing its potential to aid him in grappling with his dragon form. As they emerge from the cave, Master Theo creates tasks for each member of the group, a subtle guidance tailored to their strengths and needs. Stepping forward, Hiro finds himself confronted with a difficult task, following a twisty line to uncover a straight path within his steps. It's a metaphorical journey designed to cultivate a deeper understanding of oneself amidst life's complexities. Yet, as he grapples with this concept, Hiro finds himself confronted with a simple and profound exercise, crumpling and uncrumpling a piece of paper, a metaphor for the journey of self-discovery and transformation he is embarking upon. Palupa finds himself grappling with the depth of Master Theo's teachings, struggling to grasp their significance. Meanwhile, Eren diligently monitors reports from Namboku's palace, her heart heavy with the weight of impending war. As tensions escalate, she fears the inevitable outbreak of conflict. In the midst of their training, Palupa urges Hiro to maintain his focus, emphasizing the importance of concentration. Yet, Master Theo's guidance takes an unexpected turn as he instructs Hiro to discard the paper bearing Serato's likeness, prompting protest from the young boy, who clings to it as a cherished memory. Suspicious of the budding relationship between Hiro and Serato, Master Theo observes their interactions keenly. Amidst this, Juru returns with his prey, a testament to his prowess in the wild. However, the focus shifts once again as Master Theo directs Hiro's attention to a seemingly tough task, picking up a pebble. Serato's perspective on the gold coin as a beautiful pebble adds a unique twist to the exercise, highlighting her view on the apparent difficulty. Intrigued, Master Theo instructs Hiro to throw the pebble to a location of his choosing. As the pebble is cast, emitting a faint light, Master Theo's interest is piqued. Sensing a challenge, Hiro confronts Master Theo, who eagerly accepts the challenge. Meanwhile, in the palace, Sharisharu grapples with a sense of sadness, her emotions swirling within her. Despite her inner disruption, she remains modest, and when her servant inquires about her desires, she can only shake her head in response. She is unable to explain the source of her sadness. Instead, she calls out Namboku's name, seeking perhaps a source of comfort or guidance amidst her inner anxiety. In front of the cave, Master Theo imparts wisdom about the Koku blade, demonstrating its power without the physical presence of a sword. Hiro is initially skeptical but attempts the technique nonetheless, surprising himself when his attack connects with the stone. Despite this success, Hiro remains unaware of the significance of his achievement. Meanwhile, in the palace, Sharisharu weakly interacts with her servant before being summoned by Namboku. Excited by the prospect, she eagerly heads to meet him. Inside the cave, Juru seeks guidance from Master Theo regarding Hiro. Theo describes Hiro's character traits and affirms that while Hiro may not excel in swordsmanship, his true talent lies in magic. Juru acknowledges this, but expresses his desire to continue training Hiro in swordsmanship, wanting to support him. Master Theo assures Juru that together they can complement each other's strengths, with Juru's expertise in swordsmanship and Hiro's proficiency in magic. In the palace, Namboku is engrossed in monitoring his machine when Sharisharu arrives. He informs her that he has a task for her, prompting suspicion from one of the soldiers. Outside the cave, Master Theo instructs Hiro to assume his stance, but the young warrior is fatigued and frustrated. Theo challenges him to strike with the Koku blade, promising graduation if successful. Hiro launches an attack and Theo fakes an injury. Despite Hiro's belief that he has mastered swordsmanship, they continue their journey. Unbeknownst to them, Master Theo discreetly activates a defensive magic barrier when Hiro attacks. Eventually, they arrive in the Mort Desert. Amidst their journey, they face an attack from a Hawkeye, but Juru successfully repels it. However, Eren collapses, dropping her device in the process. Suspicions arise when they hear her communicating with the enemy, leading them to realize she's the spy. Juru confronts her, and Eren confesses to being an information broker who sells her intelligence to Namboku. Despite the betrayal, Juru decides against harming her, believing it won't compensate for their losses. In the end, they leave Eren stranded in the desert, though she warns them of dire consequences to come. In the palace, despite her guards' concerns, Sharisharu is determined to fulfill Namboku's task. She enters the machine, where she and Dr. Baharaba have joined forces. Meanwhile, as night falls in the Mort Desert, Hiro and his companions grumble about the extreme temperatures. Juru reminds them that they need to prepare for 3 nights in the desert, where the temperature fluctuates drastically between scorching days and freezing nights. As they continue traversing the desert amid the sandstorm, the group faces challenges. Meanwhile, in the Saint of Moria Kingdom, the Knights are preparing for war, believing that Vanes and Iseline have formed an alliance, and that Dragonzot is under their control. In the desert, Hiro and his companions find themselves running out of water, and Palupa falls into a sandhole. Inside, they encounter a grotesque and formidable monster. Juru instructs Palupa not to move to avoid sinking deeper, but despite his efforts, Palupa panics and sinks further. Unable to help him, the group is surprised when Eren, the blabbermouth girl, throws a rope to save Palupa. Though Palupa is saved, he remains angry with Eren, who explains that they are drifting farther from their intended destination. In the Iseline Kingdom, the king has been engaged in prayer for 3 consecutive days. There is a prevailing fear that Van Lodz and Santa Moria have aligned against them, and they are also concerned about the potential capture of Dragonzot. Meanwhile, in the Mort Desert, Hiro's group is caught in a sandstorm, causing them to become separated. Palupa regains consciousness to find Eren beside him. She explains that she has only located Palupa and has lost track of the others. Despite Palupa's concern for their companions, Eren suggests heading towards the oasis, believing that they may reunite with the others there. Determined not to perish in the desert, Eren presses forward, urging Palupa to follow her lead. Juru encounters Tame, while Hiro and Serato are separated from the rest of the group. As they continue their journey, Palupa struggles to walk, but declines Eren's offer to carry his bag. Eren defends herself, explaining that she only sells information to those willing to pay a high price. She admits to approaching Namboku in an attempt to acquire the Grand Trowa, but Palupa is overwhelmed and collapses. Meanwhile, Hiro and Serato endure the cold air together, with Serato appearing visibly concerned. The following morning, Eren and Palupa awaken, and Palupa notices a bug collecting dew on its body. He tries to mimic the behavior, but fails. Hiro, meanwhile, is shivering and desperately in need of water. Unsure of what to do next, Serato catches a whiff of a nearby lake on the wind and begins to undress. Elsewhere, Juru carries Tamit on his back and spots Eren and Palupa in the distance. They reunite as a group once again. As Serato collects droplets on her body and offers them to Hiro, he is briefly reminded of his mother. Meanwhile, a Hawkeye watches them from afar. Juru and the others finally reach the oasis, where Juru provides Tomit with water, helping him regain consciousness. However, their moment of relief is short-lived as Sharisharu suddenly appears in her fusion form. She attacks Serato and abducts Hiro before their eyes. Elsewhere, the 3 kingdoms continue to prepare for war. Hiro awakens in Namboku's palace, where the weapon merchant reveals his intention to revive Dragonzot after 10 years. Namboku, unfazed by Hiro's rage, mocks him further, claiming that the Grand Trowa rightfully belongs to him now. In a fit of anger, Hiro draws his sword and strikes at Namboku, but the enemy effortlessly blocks the attack. It becomes clear to Hiro that defeating Namboku won't be as simple as he thought. As Namboku drops this bombshell of truth, revealing his own culpability in the tragedy of 10 years prior, Hiro's rage intensifies. He refuses to accept Namboku's denial regarding the heart-switching incident, insisting that it was indeed his father, Lord Barrow, who made the decision. Despite his anger, Hiro attacks Namboku once more, but he is swiftly overpowered and thrown out into the unforgiving desert once again. The weight of Namboku's revelation and Hiro's failure weighs heavily on him as he struggles to make sense of the truth. As Juru and the others search for Hiro and Serato, Eren uses her device to listen in, hoping to pick up any clues. Suddenly, they hear Serato's voice calling out for Hiro. Following the sound, they find Serato hitting drums in an attempt to summon the dragon. To their shock, the dragon emerges and devours Serato. Panic ensues among the group, with Juru nearly attacking the dragon in his distress. However, Serato manages to calm them down, assuring them that the dragon will lead them to Hiro. Pallupa recalls that Serato first appeared alongside a dragon, further deepening the mystery surrounding her. As the party rides the dragon, they soar towards Namboku's palace. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Namboku ensures that all preparations are complete. He plans to merge the sealing treasure with his device, believing that doing so will grant him dominion over the world. However, he acknowledges that achieving this goal requires sacrificing all the magic power in the entire realm. Undeterred by the enormity of the task, Namboku remains determined to see his ambitions realized, even at the cost of immense sacrifice. As they arrive at Namboku's mansion, Serato and the others find themselves facing a structure reminiscent of the Dark Lord's palace. Eren explains the history behind the palace, detailing its previous ruler, Gairoka, and his defeat by the hero Dalhalbart. Despite its ruined state, the palace still retains powerful magic, now utilized by Namboku. Their arrival doesn't go unnoticed, however, as they are swiftly attacked upon landing, with the dragon being slain. On the ground, surrounded by guards, the group must quickly formulate a plan to evade capture. Juru and the others manage to slip away before they are discovered, but they are uncertain about how to proceed further. Dr. Baharaba drops a bombshell, revealing Serato's true nature as a magic puppet created under Namboku's command. Pallupa is shocked by this revelation. The doctor further explains that Serato's creation is tied to the Balbagoa tragedy, during which Namboku implanted the dragon blood crystal inside her body. However, because Namboku didn't appreciate Serato's beauty, he ordered her destruction. In a desperate bid to survive, Serato froze the magma lake and managed to escape her impending demise. The group finds themselves in a difficult situation as they confront Namboku and Sharisharu in the room with the giant crystal. Despite Hiro's warnings and pleas to leave, his friends refuse to abandon him. Serato, displaying selflessness, offers herself as a surrender in exchange for Hiro's release. However, Namboku reveals that he needs both Serato and Hiro for his grand plan to unfold. As the solar eclipse casts its shadow over Balbagoa, Namboku's sinister plan reaches its climax. With the convergence of celestial events, Namboku intends to utilize all the gathered magic power to fuse soldiers from the three kingdoms with the essence of Dragon Zot, creating a monstrous entity even more formidable than the evil dragon itself. Meanwhile, the sphere surrounding Namboku's mansion seals shut, trapping everyone inside. Sharisharu, realizing the imminent danger, sends all the accumulated magic power to Dr. Baharaba, believing Namboku will spare her life. However, Namboku appears and dispels any hope of salvation, declaring that everyone within the mansion will become part of his grand scheme. With this chilling revelation, the situation becomes all too clear to those caught within Namboku's grasp. As the situation escalates within the mansion, Sharisharu's initial confidence turns to rage as she realizes the true extent of Namboku's treachery. Meanwhile, Juru confronts Dr. Baharaba, seeking answers about the source of the fear that holds the magic inside. The doctor reveals that his true body resides in Balbagoa, and that the current form he inhabits is merely a puppet. Juru's pride quickly turns to dismay as Dr. Baharaba attacks him, causing him to collapse. Namboku, seizing the opportunity, uses his magic to summon Serato and commands her to obey his orders. Serato, under Namboku's control, undergoes a drastic transformation, becoming a vessel for spreading terror. However, Namboku's plans are foiled momentarily as the heart of Dragon Zot inside Serato ceases to beat. Despite the chaos and the crumbling mansion, Pallupa desperately seeks Mumu's assistance. However, Mumu demands a high price for her help, leaving Pallupa and the others to pull together whatever resources they have in a desperate bid for survival. As chaos reigns inside the sphere, Mumu prepares to fire the magic cannon, hoping to create an opening for their escape. With a powerful blast, the cannon pierces the sphere, allowing Pallupa, Juru, and the others to flee to safety in Balbagoa. Meanwhile, in Balbagoa, Hiro stands on the brink of transformation into a dragon, a crucial step in Namboku's plan to summon the Dark Lord. Enraged by the situation and the manipulation he's endured, Hiro launches an attack. However, before he can harm Serato or unleash his full power, Juru and the rest of the group arrive, intervening to separate the two and prevent further conflict. As Juru moves to approach Hiro and Serato, eager to intervene and stop the conflict, Sharu steps in to block his path. Despite being on the verge of death at Namboku's hands, she remains loyal to him, willing to obey his commands without question. Namboku himself watches the unfolding battle between Hiro and Serato with twisted satisfaction, finding beauty in the strife between two individuals bound by fate. As Serato manages to subdue Hiro and prevent him from further harming her, she restrains him and forcefully pins him to the ground. Despite Juru's desire to aid Hiro, Sharu intervenes, preventing him from stepping in and nearly delivering a fatal blow to Hiro herself. Suddenly, Sharu is hurled away by an unseen force, revealing the appearance of Dragon Zot, who shields Hiro from harm. Namboku, witnessing the activation of his magic reactor and the appearance of Dragon Zot, is delighted by the unfolding events. Namboku then proceeds to imprison Dragon Zot within the Grand Trowa, intending to fuse himself with the dragon using the magic reactor. As the fusion process commences, a tremendous surge of energy emanates from Balboa, signaling the beginning of the fusion. However, instead of utilizing the soldiers as planned, Namboku decides to sacrifice himself to complete the fusion with Dragon Zot. As Dr. Baharaba witnesses Namboku's unexpected move, the fate of the realm hangs in the balance. He realizes the dire situation. Hiro, driven by a surge of power from his parents and other absorbed lives, attempts to counterattack, but Namboku easily overpowers him, sending him crashing to the ground. Despite his valiant efforts, Hiro collapses under Namboku's relentless assault. Feeling the urgency of the situation, Eren and Tomit implore Dr. Baharaba to intervene and stop Namboku. Recognizing the gravity of the moment, the doctor instructs them to retrieve the magical reactor and disrupt the ongoing ritual. As Serato regains consciousness, she finds Hiro still lying vulnerable while Namboku prepares to unleash the final blow, harnessing Dragon Zot's true power. Meanwhile, Dr. Baharaba, Eren, and Tomit act swiftly to take control of the reactors and initiate their destruction. With their timely intervention, the balance of power is disrupted, throwing Namboku's plans into disarray. Despite their efforts, Namboku remains undeterred, persistent in carrying out his destructive intentions. He summons the soul-destroying flame, aiming to unleash its devastating force upon Hiro. In a moment of desperation and determination, Hiro summons the strength to act, driven by a mix of grief, anger, and resolve. Witnessing Serato sacrifice herself to save him, he is overwhelmed with emotion. As Namboku moves to execute his final devastating attack, Hiro finds the courage to strike back, severing Namboku's arm in a swift and decisive move. He finally confronts Namboku head-on, piercing his heart with his sword, despite the villain's disbelief that a mere human could inflict such a wound. With the Grand Trowa in hand, Hiro summons all his remaining strength and courage. He confronts the mighty Dragon Zot, knowing that his own heart lies within the dragon's formidable form. As Dragon Zot looms over him, Hiro makes a bold decision. He uses the power of the Grand Trowa to wield the Koku Blade, the very weapon that had once sealed the dragon's power. In a decisive strike, Hiro plunges the blade into Dragon Zot's heart. With a mighty roar, the dragon's form begins to tremble as the blade pierces through Dragon Zot's chest. Hiro's heart is released from the dragon's grasp, soaring free from its ancient prison. In a moment of triumph and relief, Hiro welcomes his heart back, feeling the weight of his burden lift as he embraces his restored self. As Hiro gazes upon the lifeless form of Serato, Juru's suggestion echoes in his mind. With a heavy heart, he approaches her and makes a solemn decision. Placing his hand over Serato's chest, Hiro summons the courage to transfer his own heart into her body. A miraculous transformation occurs as Serato comes back to life with a gentle warmth. Hiro's heart beats once again within her, bringing her back from the brink of death. In a breathtaking display, the dragon's form begins to disappear, vanishing into a shower of graceful light that scatters into the sky above. As the darkness ends, the brilliance of sunlight pierces through the once shadowed land of Balboa. Amidst the aftermath, Palupa reaches for the shattered remains of the Grand Trowa, his eyes glowing with thoughts of wealth and fortune. Yet, Eren and Tomi, driven by their own desires, engage in a struggle over the broken relic. In the chaos, the Grand Trowa slips from their grasp and falls to the ground, fracturing into irreparable pieces. As Jiro uncovers the truth about the object they believe to be the Grand Trowa, Palupa struggles to accept the revelation. However, Jiro explains that Hiro's hidden magical abilities allowed him to wield the heirloom effectively against Namboku. This realization dawns on them during Hiro's training with Master Theo, revealing the depths of Hiro's untapped potential. Serato, witnessing Hiro's tears, is taken aback by his emotional display, causing him to become flustered in her presence. Despite her surprise, she searches for Dr. Baharaba, only to learn that her father did not survive the battle. Meanwhile, the soldiers of the Three Kingdoms retreat, signaling the end of the conflict. Erin's intervention, fueled by her connections to the kings, ensures peace across the land. In a surprising turn of events, Mumu appears, reminding them of their debt amidst the newfound tranquility. On the other hand, Sharshar's tears give way to joy as she learns of a freed girl, reborn and empowered by fusion. Embracing her newfound happiness, Sharsharu rejoices in the revelation. As they bid farewell to Dr. Baharaba with a solemn burial, Tamit and the others tease Hiro for his selfless act of giving his heart to Serato. Despite the banter, they part ways on good terms. However, Hiro rejects the label of a mage, choosing instead to embrace his identity as a wandering swordsman. To all Leaf Village ninjas, that is it for today. Recap, do not forget to join our clan, our army, my friend. You can do that by clicking that red button below the video, destroy it for me with that bell. To follow us in YouTube with many videos to come in the following days. So see you later, bro. Peace out.